Hi, everyone. Welcome into My Chamber TV. Happy New Year, it is. It's our first show with none other than the West Pasco Chamber of Commerce.
And Paul Friedlander.
Yes.
Proud to co-host with my buddy over here, Barbara. Happy New Year.
I know. Happy New Year, my friend. And we just happen to have, actually, you know Sandy from the Health Hut, and
Yep.
I know Sandy from the Health Hut from a lot of years ago. And I know, and I saw that you were in the show today. I'm going, yay.
And she knows you and Dennis from Tai Chi.
I know, one of our students, and how exciting is that? Because Tai Chi and Qigong goes really hand in hand with taking good care of your body and everything. Right. I've been over to the Health Hut, and you have actually been there, Sandy, just so you know, Sandy Schanau.
Very good.
Aha,
yes.
I remember that. Yes. So you've been over there for how long?
Probably since 1986, 7.
A little bit of time, I would guess. So you're helping a lot of people with alternative ways in taking care of themselves, right?
Yes, we are.
So why the longevity? Tell me what your passion is over there.
To help people to get healthy, really to try and help them to take vitamins, herbs, and education. We try and give them education because they need to know how to take care of themselves, but mostly it's education, so yes.
I'm really glad that you said that, because when I saw Sandy was on the show today,
Yes.
she came in extra early, and I was here, and we were just kind of kibitzing back and forth. And the one thing that I think is really important is when you walk into a health food store, you do get educated, because education, especially on alternative health, never mind the regular medical profession and all that, and all you need to know about medications that you take, it's a lifelong journey of learning, isn't it?
Yes, it is, because we, the staff that's at the store, we have 5 ladies there, and every one of them have been educated. We go to different classes. We've done our CNHP, and mostly when people come in, we'll ask them questions. We want to make sure if they're taking meds, then they need to talk to the doctor. If they want a multivitamin, we try and lead them in the right direction. But yes, that's what we do.
And that's based on the education that you go through, many hours of education and
learning.
You know,
with all of the products that are in there, you can't know what they are.
Right.
And in order for you to understand what they do to you, you have to educate yourself. So we're always going to classes, always.
Sandy, Joyce,
Strickland.
There's a couple of Joyces there.
Yes.
Joyce Strickland actually does one-on-one counseling with
Yes, she does.
her clients. So that makes your store a little bit different than the big box type of health food stores.
Yes, because what she is, she's you have to do a 2-hour, first time coming there, you have to do 2 hours with her. And after that, it's an hour. And usually she charges $95 for 2 hours, and then after that is $50 for an hour.
And what happens in that 2 hours, in that 1 hour period? What is she doing with the
She's
client?
actually talking to you.
Okay.
She does reflexology on you. She does muscle testing on you.
Okay.
And she just tries to find out if you take any meds, and she tries to work around that, because you know you can't take people off of meds like that. You cannot do that.
Right.
You have to work on that. And it's a slow procedure. And a lot of people don't understand that, but that's the education that we try to give to our, I don't like saying client, customers.
Yeah.
Customers.
Yep. And now the other thing, you and I had a conversation one night. We were sitting at Boulevard during a networking event, and we were talking about some of the myths, if you remember, or we were talking about allergies.
Okay.
If you remember, educate us a little bit about allergies and what we were talking about that night in terms of the bread and all the things that have been added to food now.
Well, a lot of times people don't understand that they are allergic to wheat, and there's information in our store that we will hand out to the people to make them understand what is the allergies, what is it they're allergic to, okay? So we try and give them that information.
Right.
Because we don't usually say, well, because of this or because of that. We'll give you the information, you take it home. Most of the time people will buy it because of us giving them that information.
Right.
So they become accountable and they do their own homework.
Yes.
But
a lot of people will go home and check this out, which is good. That's what you want. You want people to go home and check it out.
But what was so interesting specifically about that conversation that night was that a lot of these allergies have been caused by the preservatives and things that have been added to the food. Whereas back in the day when there were no preservatives, first of all, you didn't keep food around for a week. You ate it within 1 or 2 days.
Right. You think about bread back then. I mean, a week's time it mold. Okay,
Right.
you have bread now that'll last for months and months because of that. So yes, and I
So-
think that's why a lot of people are allergic because of that.
Yeah, I
And
remember
we-
you saying, I found that interesting. I thought, well, that probably makes sense.
Yes.
I have a question for you for our viewers that maybe aren't familiar with reflexology.
Yes.
Or what was the other point that you were
Muscle.
saying?
Muscle
The muscle.
testing.
Can you let everybody know what the muscle testing is as far as when somebody comes in to see if they resonate with particular vitamins and supplements and
Okay.
things like that?
Joyce does that.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, because she's had the school
She's
for that.
trained for
that.
She
Right.
is trained for
Yes.
that.
Yes.
I have done it, but I don't do it on any people, unless it's family or friends
Right.
or
Right,
whatever, I'll do
right.
it. But it's a positive and negative in our body, and that's how you find out if you need that vitamin, need that herb, or if you're allergic to something. We have that positive and negative in our bodies, and that's how we find out. Reflexology, you work on your hands and your feet, and there are certain parts like your liver or your brain
Right.
or your kidney, and there are parts there on your feet or on your hands. And a lot of times we use essential oils. So, yeah.
And those are the
Okay.
pressure points
Yes.
that lead to all the different
Yes.
organs, which is from the Asian culture,
Yes.
now here integrated in the United States. I mean, we've been doing that for well over 30 years, my husband and I, and so we understand that. But for somebody that maybe is really tired of taking meds, not that we're recommending that you ever go off your meds,
Ever.
like Sandy said,
Right.
No.
this is a process, and it it really takes mutual commitment with
Yes.
you at the store, your professional education that you all go through over at the Health Hut,
Yes.
and then the committing
Yes.
from your client to do their homework and everything.
Well, that's what helps a lot of people. Now, a lot of people will say, well, gee, it hasn't worked. Okay, and then we'll say to them, how long have you been taking this? Oh, well, I just only been taking it for a couple of weeks. Well, how long have you had this problem? Give it at least 3 months. Try it
Right.
for 3 months. Take the products, see what happens, and see if there's a difference. You can't tell in a couple of weeks. So,
Right.
Yeah,
And the
reduce it.
key, as she mentioned before, is obviously you don't change your meds without talking
No.
to your physician. But it seems to me, I mean, even we have an old school physician that we've gone to for years, and it seems to me that, and I might just be sort of rose-colored glasses, but it seems to me that they've started to look more at the homeopathic
Yes.
remedies
Yes,
as
they have.
opposed
The
to the
integrated.
drugs.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's because of people are educating themselves.
Right.
Okay, a lot of people are seeing their parents, their grandparents, what has happened with
Yes.
them with meds.
Right.
So now they're saying, now wait a minute, do I want to do this? Because of.
Yep.
So they're researching this, and that's what you want. You want them to
Exactly.
research.
Exactly.
To check.
And it's amazing what you can find out, especially now, not that you believe everything on the internet, but when you go to reputable sources like yourselves and all, and of course we're not making any kind of claims to cure by going and taking supplements from the Health Hut, but if you go and educate yourself, you'll be way ahead of yourself when you go to the Health Hut. Where are you guys located now?
We're on Old 54. We're right across the street from Jersey Boys, Sugar Darlings.
Okay.
That's a
Carmelitas is
factory.
right there.
Carmelitas, you're in the same
yeah,
plaza as
we're right in the same
Carmelitas.
plaza as Carmelitas.
And you've been there for a long, long
Since
time.
1998 there. And then we're up on Madison and 54. And we're there for 1980 until 1990.
So what does that tell you guys? That's longevity,
Yeah.
education, research, and you have a multitude. You carry essential oils.
Oh, yes. Young
And-
Living.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Young Living.
Living,
That's
yeah,
what I use.
yeah,
Okay.
I love Young Living.
Yeah,
yes, yes,
absolutely.
yeah,
And
very
so,
good.
so you offer a lot of different alternatives for customers that want to come in and say, hey, you know what? I'd like to look into how I might be able to improve my sense of well-being, whatever, my health, overall health and everything. And then you actually take the time, Joyce takes the time for 2 hours and sits
Yes.
down with them.
Yes.
And that's a $95 little ticket there. Well worth it. 2 hours is a long
Yeah, it
time.
is.
Yes,
You can
yes.
really get a lot of information. And then after that, it's $50 an
For an
hour.
hour, for an hour,
That's
yes.
very, very reasonable. Yes.
And it's great because a lot of the customers will come in and we enjoy life. You have to enjoy life. You have to be happy. That's your health. That is your health. If
Yes,
you
it
be
is.
happy and you enjoy life, you know what? You're going to live longer. And that's what you have to do. And that's what we do when the people come into our store. We're happy. and customers love us, and we're very
Right.
blessed. We really are blessed to have.
And you guys, and it's interesting because you have now in this day and age, there's also health products that are applied for the hair and things like
yes.
that, like some of your dyes.
Yep. I
For
use
women
it.
that dye their hair and things, unlike you two, but for the other women who have to dye their hair and look to look
I
pretty.
wouldn't
it's
know anything
natural.
about that.
I know.
Anyways, it is natural, and we do have natural shampoos. We have toothpaste. We have soaps. We have so many different little things. We do have some energy bars, protein bars,
Yes.
and protein drinks. So yeah, we do, and teas, because I like green tea.
That's
But yes.
awesome.
Well,
That's
one more time, tell everybody where you guys are located again.
At the health hub is located on 8520 Old CR 54, right next door to Carmelitas, and we'd love to see each and every one of you.
Well, and you really do have to check these guys out
Yeah,
because
they do.
they know what they're doing over there. I've been over there, I've shopped over there, and know you guys for a while back. So thank you for joining us here for this segment with our fabulous little Sandy here from the Health Hut. I'm going to come see you again. It's been a good little while.
Thank you.
So we're going to take a brief little time out, and when we come back, we have more right here on My Chamber TV.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was awesome.
Hi, everyone. Welcome into My Chamber TV, the heartbeat of the Tampa Bay community. I'm Barbara Marville Kelly, and with me is my co-host of going on 4 years now with
Paul Friedlander. Good to be here.
I know, West Pasco Chamber.
Yes, it's been it's awesome. We enjoy it.
I know we do, and it's
have
really
fun.
great. Happy New Year if you're just tuning in. We have a return guest, Mr. Jim Howard, who is doing amazing, and I do mean amazing things in the community. You know, we were talking earlier on about education when it comes to your health and alternatives and everything, but what about what's going on in the world today? And especially in churches, workplace, and all of this. I've had the pleasure of interviewing Jim Howard in the past with Trinity Security Allies. And I am telling you, this man, I'm going to turn this over to Jim to tell what he's doing, why he's doing it, and how we can help protect ourselves in ways that you will never even dream of. Welcome.
Well,
Welcome
thank you.
back.
Thank you
Have
for
you.
having me back. Thank you for having me back. Yes, it's been very busy here lately. Of course, with the incident that happened in Sullivan Springs, Texas, a lot of the churches have been reaching out to us to kind of learn on what they can do to kind of beef up the security at their church. When we go in, though, we try to teach them that really, when we go into the churches, we explain to them that this is a ministry, and we're here to expand the kingdom of God. So we need to make sure that we can understand that the church's doors are always open to allow people to come in. But what we do, we go in and educate them on how to protect the church while still allowing them to have open doors.
Sure.
We tell them that there's 3 types of people that are going to visit their church. There are those that come to worship and they know them. They know who they are, they see them every week, or they're a family that walks in and asks the right questions about children's ministry or what services they offer. And then you have those that are hurting. And those are the ones that are one step away of doing something that they may regret for the rest of their life. And then, of course, you have those that are the sheep, the wolves in the sheep clothing. And what we do, we educate the churches on how to spot the last 2. Because those that are hurting, you want to make sure that you're helping them also so that they don't do that thing that is wrong. And then, of course, at the same time, you want to make sure that they're not a threat and they're not the wolf that is in the sheep clothing. So when we sat down and we started to explain to them about, we don't want it to be an armed security location, you know, to where people walk in the door and you see armed guards and stuff like this. That doesn't give you that warm, fuzzy
Right.
feeling
No.
that you really want in a church environment. So when we start to talk to them, we teach them on what to look for, how to assess things. We have a saying, we say observe, assess, and react. And then we teach them how to watch for threat. We do a thing called threat profiling and what to look for when they're looking for that in the threat profiling. So it's all education, it really is.
And having that awareness.
And having the awareness of who's coming in your door. Once we do these classes and once we teach people, normally after the first session, they're starting to spot things right off the bat. Or they're sitting there thinking to themselves, gosh, you know, I just saw this last weekend at church and I really didn't realize what it was. You know, a person sitting by themselves and kind of distant and not talking to anybody, or what we call, you set up your baseline of what your church is all about, to where the way that you dress. We are a come as you are church. You know, we have people come in with flip-flops and shorts on.
Right.
And a couple of months ago, I went to a Baptist church over in Lakeland, and when I went in wearing the normal stuff that I wear to do training, I was immediately out of place, because inside that church, it was all sports coat and nice dress shirts. My daughter went with me, who had on a pair of jeans and a really nice shirt, and she was out of place because all the girls had dress slacks or dresses on. She was way out of place. And these are type of things that, you know, we educate people on, because we want to make sure that they see this when it walks in the door. And it's just getting them to understand that we still have to expand the kingdom of God, whatever their mission is, whatever their mission statement is. As at our church at Generations, it's connecting people to Christ. We want to make sure that we are a subset of that we're helping out that mission statement when we do these things.
Of course.
So those are the type of things right here.
Now, Jim, unfortunately, I know when you and I and Wendy first met, which was probably 6, 7, maybe as much as a year ago, maybe not that long, business was good, but unfortunately, due to what's happened, business is now, it's not one of those things where you really like it booming, but
Right.
it
Yeah.
is.
You don't want to capitalize on a tragedy, and that's the
Right.
sad thing about it. But, you know, what we talk about, The weekend before the Sutherland Springs incident happened, I was talking about what churches should be looking at right now. And one of the big things that we tried to push is domestic violence, because it's one of these things that churches really sadly bury their head in the sand when something like that happens inside their church. And they need to be aware of it, because that's what causes a lot of these shootings at churches. What a lot of people don't realize, on the same day that the Sutherland Springs happened, there was another shooting in California that was domestic violence in nature. Ex-husband caught his wife and her new boyfriend coming out of church and shot and killed him, and then committed suicide. So these things are out here, and really it causes a lot of issues for the church that they really need to be paying attention to.
And just to give everybody a feel, I know you've been on before, but a little bit about your background real quick.
Well, to kind of understand why I really truly feel the pain that these people are feeling, when I was 16 years old, my father walked out of a church service and shot and killed a deacon that was helping my mother and him, and they were separated. And so he was consulting them and trying to get them back together again. And it was over domestic violence issues. My dad was a very abusive person. So I truly understand what happens to the families afterwards when one of these incidents happen.
Yeah.
And then through God's plan, I ended up joining the Norfolk Police Department in Norfolk, Virginia, and was there for 26 years with them, and then went to DC and did executive protection details, and then came down to Florida and ended up working for the town of Bel Air for 8 years as their detective, and now I'm with Port Richey right now as an auxiliary officer. Awesome. So I have over 35 years of law enforcement experience. Our church came to me and asked me to set up a safety team, because we had just bought some property in Pasco County, and we were looking at building, the worship center, and we were raising a lot of money, and so there was a lot of money going back and forth in the church, and they asked me to come in and just kind of watch the money. And during that time, we were, 9/11 had happened, and we were talking about soft targets and all these things like this, and we wanted to do more, and the church kind of said, just watch the money go from point A to point B. And right after we got started, we had a guy that came in that was violating his supervised visitation with his children. He was coming in and getting his children after his wife would drop them off at the children's ministry. And she would go into the worship center, he would go and get them, not take them off campus. And so we were trying to help her, and then he threatened his in-laws. And the very next week, this person was a person of interest in a murder case that happened here in Pasco County, and ended up getting arrested for it and convicted of it.
Just out of curiosity, again, it's not like you're deputizing the people in the church or anything like that. So an incident like that, what do you ask them to do?
Well, as soon as they see that something is wrong, or they spot something in what we teach them to look for, then they need to get on the phone and call 911. I mean, that's just all there is to it. We work very closely with any law enforcement agency that comes out. We work real close with Pasco County. They've come out and been to a lot of our presentations. They've always blessed us as what we're teaching, because you have to understand, I'm teaching police too. I'm seeing it from both sides of the fence. And so it's very important that once you first start to see something happening, you contact the local law enforcement. Because we have this saying that we would rather come and it be nothing at all than for us to show up and after the fact, that we could maybe have prevented some of this stuff. Police departments are unfortunately most of the time reactive, when we're trying to teach churches how to be, proactive and be looking for this before it happens.
It makes sense. It truly does. And my question to you, being in the force for as many years as you have, this is almost second nature to you, right? So as a congregation is learning how to be involved, and if you see something, say something kind of thing, how do you keep that balance without them becoming, how do I want to say, paranoid?
Well, first off, when we get in and we start talking about how to set up a safety team, you have to make sure that you have the right people. You can't just pull anybody out. We laugh because we have these churches out here that have armed everybody. Well, that's not what you should be doing.
Right.
This has to be a person who has a godly heart, a loving heart, and a serving heart. And so once you kind of vet who you're going to have on your safety team, then you start to train them on what to look for. And you have to be that servant. You cannot be this person that puffs up their chest and says, I'm now part of the safety team. That doesn't work. That person needs to go. Right. If their number one job is not following God and serving God, and expanding his kingdom, then they're in the wrong place.
That's a whole big game changer
That's a whole
altogether.
big game
That is
changer.
like night and day. So I'm glad that you shared that with us, because that was like tugging at my heart, and I'm going, just based on what you said.
We do two types of training when we go into a church. The first one is why you need one and how to set one up. And when we talk about how to set one up, the first thing that we talk about is that it has to be scripturally led, and the person that you're looking at has to have those type of characteristics of a servant of God. They have to have served the church before in some other capacity, as a greeter or an usher, children's ministry, any of those type. We want them to serve first, and then once they have the opportunity to get to know the people in the church and they feel the calling, we ask them to pray about it. It's just not, oh, I just want to be a part of the safety team.
Exactly.
We tell them to go home and pray about it, because
Right.
they may have to make a decision one day that will change their life.
And there
will
is a
change their
difference
life.
with being a believer and a non-believer,
Sure
and how
there is.
you're going to respond rather than react.
And we talk about that also. You can go out and hire the private security companies if you want to, but they don't have your church's heart on their mind. They're
Right.
there for the $10, $15, whatever
hour,
they're getting
yeah.
paid an hour, just to kind of walk around.
Right.
We encourage law enforcement in, but when we get law enforcement in, we try to explain to the churches, this is just a deterrent. If a person wants to do a church harm, they don't care if you have law enforcement. They're going to do it anyway.
Right.
Exactly.
Even with them there. So we have to make sure that we educate those inside the church of what to look for.
And unfortunately, we're running out
I
of
know,
time,
we
because
could
we could
keep
talk.
you
We could keep you
hours
for
here,
hours.
hours.
But you do have a couple of events coming up. I know, being married myself, that if I don't, happy wifey, happy lifey. So Miss Wendy has got an event coming up that she has just been working her heart out on for months now.
Sure.
It's Celebration of Youth.
Celebrate Youth. Yes.
Celebrate Youth. It's going to be out and you can go to their website. You can go to their website to find out all the details, but it is going to be on January 27th. It's going to be out at the concourse, and we believe it's from 10 to 3 that day. Don't hold me to that, but it's going to be a phenomenal event to bring your
And
kids
you can
to.
go to TrinitySecurityAllies.com. That's TrinitySecurityAllies.com. And there's many other events. If you would like to get a hold of Jim and maybe have him come in and do some training at your church, or even just do a little interview with him, that you are doing God's work out there on various levels. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you
All
for
right.
having me again.
We'll see you next time. We're going to have you
Yes.
back.
Okay, great.
And you stick around, because we have more guests right here on My Chamber TV.
And we're back. And since Barb unplugged herself, I'm Paul Friedlander. I'm co-hosting for the West Pasco Chamber of Commerce with the lovely Barbara Marville Kelly.
I thank you very
And we are,
much.
like we discussed, this coming April is going to be 4 years.
It is for My Chamber TV and West Pasco, and it's great
It's
having
been
you here.
fun.
You always bring great guests, and we have Sonal Patel, who is owner of the Natural Clinic MD, and I know nothing about this yet, so I'm going to kind of turn this over
Yes.
to you to share what it is, what you're doing over there. Kind of sounds like maybe alternative.
Yes, it does, sure. And you bring up a good point, Barbara, in terms of what it really is, because a lot of people look at Natural Clinic MD thinking, is it a natural food store, or is it, or let's say I have neuropathy, can I go and get some holistic medication? But we're actually a medical marijuana clinic,
Yes.
and that's our sole practice at this point. And what we are doing is making sure that patients who've tried traditional treatment plans and have certain conditions, let's say seizures, there's ALS, HIV, chronic non-malignant pain, sometimes of cancer, have a lot of nausea or vomiting associated with that, which medical marijuana has proven to work. So that's what we qualify our patients in. We're the medical side of it, so we have a physician, Dr. Patel,
Right.
who sees the patients at the office, and we get them qualified. One advantage to this is we have a free phone consultation. There's a lot of clinics that will call you in to say, hey, you don't qualify.
Right.
That stands against who we are as people. So we have a free phone consultation because it's a new program, new treatment plan. The laws are trickling in every day, it changes, and keeping up to date with what's changing is a challenge. So a patient is able to call us and say, hey, I have this. Do I really qualify, or how does this work? Which is some of the common questions we get
Sure.
from patients, because I would want to know what do I really need? Is it like seeing a regular physician, or am I seeing someone else? And what's the difference between a medical clinic and a dispensary? And there's also a difference between a prescription and a recommendation. So there's a lot of terms that are confused because the state is labeling this as a recommendation
Okay.
and
So
not a
Not a prescription?
Yes.
So the question then is, what is the difference between a dispensary and a
medical
and a
clinic.
medical clinic,
Yes, that's
please?
a good question. So a dispensary will not have physicians per se. They have physicians there in the background who may do the testing, who may look over the product line of the dispensary. Dispensary is where you get them actual medication.
Okay.
So we have certain, there's none in Pasco County, but the closest one they have is in Clearwater. There's a few in Tampa.
Okay.
And they have a wide range of products that the patient is able to go in with their medical marijuana card and get the medication.
And with all this being so new, Sonal, what is the biggest misconception about what this is all about?
Because me and Dr. Patel, we both have been answering the phone calls, and I would say our number one misconception is, I would say, preconceived ideas about marijuana,
Right.
and not seeing it as medical marijuana. And so that's why we tell most of our patients, we have some older patients, most of our patients actually, 90% of them are over the age of 65.
Oh, there you
And
go.
some have taken it before, some have never taken it, and they're very religious, spiritual people, church going, following their own religions.
Right.
And they do not believe in drugs.
Drugs.
So marijuana is considered a drug, yes.
Yes.
But we do have natural CBD receptors in our body, which the medical side of it, which is what is concentrates of THC and CBD, can take care of our symptoms and not cause the high. So medical marijuana is given in a very low dose.
Gotcha.
And from what I've heard is a patient would need maybe 300 milligrams of THC to be that high. And a medical marijuana starts off with 10 milligrams per day.
And what was the terminology used? Was it CBD?
Yeah, the CBD. The CBD THC combination is what they are saying works for
And
the
CBD
patients.
is?
It's cannabinoid.
Okay, gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha. So these are all, and what made you and Dr. Patel decide to start this practice?
So we both were working, you know, for various hospitals. We both worked. I worked as a nurse. He worked as a hospitalist. We realized what we saw every time. My phone call, 50% of the day is talking to a physician regarding a pain medication not working,
Gotcha.
or regarding side effects of narcotics, or let's say some anti-seizure medications.
Oh, gotcha.
I think we both kind of knew that medical marijuana is a good field to go into in terms of making sure that people have the right information first, and they know that this works if taken as directed. Now, everything is so regulated, which is a good thing, because we're able to see when a patient got their prescription, when they got approved, when they went to the dispensary. So if someone tells me that I need more medication, I have to see if it falls in their dose range. If it's not, we won't be able to give it.
So I have a question for you, my dear. We all know the epidemic of opioid dependency.
Yes.
We know that. If you have a patient that gives you a call or comes for a visit and they're on the opioids,
Yes.
the transition from going that to the cannabis oil, are you able to, because I'm very green on that, I know a little bit about the CBD oil, but how do you transition them where they can't, obviously, we were just talking about this earlier, you can't go right off your medication right away. What is the transition period with something like that, just in generalities?
Yeah. So we have a lot of chronic pain patients that have a combination of, let's say, a pump, morphine pump, a patch, and a PRN pain medications that they have to take as needed for breakthrough pain. With medical marijuana, what we've seen with our patients is they need less of the pain medication. So in addition to, that's a good point. In addition to the help from their pain doctor or their regular physician, they're able to get off most of their pain medications, what we say tapered off, because they have to be tapered off slowly. They're taking 40 milligrams 3 times a day. They go down to 20 3 times a day, and then 20 twice, and then 20 once. So slowly, the patient realizes themselves, hey, I don't really need this much because my pain is actually controlled with the medical marijuana. So with the help of their regular physicians, they're able to taper off. And
Do you ever, I'm sorry.
No, please.
Do you ever, because we only have 3 minutes, I can ask her a million questions. So do you ever have doctors that don't believe in it?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have
How
a
do you
personal
handle
story. My husband had to tell me, you can't let it get to you, because I was chased out of an office, and it's a true story.
That happened to my friend.
That happened to me, and I said, I'm not going to anyone's office. I got scared, and I was like, what if someone just shows a gun to me? But that was just a fear. But
That's why we had Jim on.
I was thinking of talking to Jim, because I will need security.
Oh my goodness! But you know, it's a real thing, and I have a friend that I was just on the phone with someone today that is taking the not the CBD oil, but is on the oxy.
Right.
And they're afraid to take too much. And don't.
Yes.
And I recommended this.
Yes, and the one thing to know about medical marijuana is that it doesn't affect your respiratory center, so you will not overdose on medical marijuana. With opiates, it's got a lot of side effects, and you have to actually be going to a clinic, a drug rehab, to actually stop or get off the opiate problem.
So you do not dispense at your practice. Now, I know it's specialized, will you help somebody else with treatment or send them to are they coming from another doctor to see you, or can you be the first person they see?
No, that's a good point. We really don't do the diagnosing. We request their paperwork from their physician, which has to be within a year. and it has to be a qualified condition. So we have to make sure that they have the documentation before we even make them active in the registry.
We only have 1 minute remaining, but do you have to go, do the doctors that are recommending this to come to you, do they have to have some kind of pre-qualifications?
Yes, they do. They go through intense training.
That's what
And they have to be a medical marijuana provider. Of course, they have the medical knowledge, but to know which medication would work for which condition, they need that extra education, which they go through for through the medical board and the Department of Health.
That's what I thought. So it's a specialty area there.
It becomes a special area. Yes,
So we can get a hold of you at naturalclinicmd.com. And where are you located?
we are at 4766 Rowan Road, and our number is 727-753-8861. And I'm sure we know someone in our family, someone who's
Absolutely.
struggling to get the right medications. I'm saying just for a minute, just take off the rose-colored glasses. Think of it in a medical way, Think of it as a
Yes.
medical marijuana and not
Yes.
just marijuana.
Yes, exactly. And again, this is another alternative to help you with issues. We're not making any claims to cure anything whatsoever, but if there is an alternative out there that could be a little bit more on the less side effects side, to say the very least, why not give it a try? Call Sonal and schedule an appointment. Ask you do a free consultation over the
We do a
phone.
free phone consultation, yes.
That's wonderful.
Yes. So anyone can call us, fill out our forms through our website and we'll give them a call back.
That's really
Awesome.
great. That's really great. And I think you're going to be definitely in good hands. Great to have you on with us today.
Thank you so much.
I have a list of people that I'm going to refer to.
Okay.
Thanks for being with us on My Chamber TV. We'll be right back after this. And we're back again, My Chamber TV, the heartbeat of our Tampa Bay community. Barbara Marville Kelly here with my dear friend Paul Friedlander, West Pasco Chamber of Commerce, and the one and only who makes it happen along with Paul is Kara Graham. Welcome.
You're back. Thank you for having me back.
And the young lady responsible for those three wonderful guests that we had on in these previous three sections. So thank you.
Oh,
You're
that was
welcome.
Thank you.
just was a good mix. That was
Yes.
really, really great. Very educational.
West Pasco Chamber's good for getting the right mix, aren't we?
I think so.
We always
Just
end
saying
up,
there.
and very rarely does anybody
we-
not show. I don't think we've ever had a no-show, and everybody shows up, and we.
Yep.
And guys, if you're listening and you're a chamber member, we truly appreciate that. Thank you so much.
And if you're not a chamber member,
Call.
You need to
need to
call and
talk
become
to
a
Kara
chamber member.
Graham.
Well, you know, it's what it's all about. This is the last segment we're doing, and I'm just going to turn this over to you guys on what's happening in the community, because this West Pasco area, West Pasco Chamber, is the happening chamber.
Well, I'm going to turn it over to Kara in a second, but I just want to let you know that January is Business Development Week month. And it is the last week in January, the 22nd through the 26th, which is Monday through Friday. And anybody that's familiar with it knows that it is just a week full of phenomenal events, most of them free unless it's a lunch, but to come out and learn how to build your business. And don't forget, I always like to tell people, don't worry if you have to take, and it's up on the screen right now, but don't worry if you have to take a couple of hours or 3 or 4 hours away from your business. Myself included, we all spend so much time working in our business that all too often we forget to work on our business. And sometimes if you're a small business owner, I know it's hard to get out, but sometimes, you know what, you close the store for a couple hours, in the long run it's going to be worth it if it helps you grow your business. And here's what we're really excited about. This is the 25th annual Business Development
Wow.
Week, and the theme of it this year is turning our silver, our 25th anniversary, into your gold.
I love
And now I'm
it.
going to turn it over to my buddy Miss Kara over
All
here to talk
right.
about some of the stuff going on.
We do. We have so much going on. Well, that week, so anything for that week is up on our website, on westpasco.com.
Okay.
It's going to be your, I tell everybody, your best friend for everything.
Yes.
It has our digital newsletters on there. The tickets for the kickoff lunch that is at Spartan Manor on the 22nd for Business Development Week.
And our guest speaker, Martine
Gramatica.
the ex-field
The
goal kicker
Nice.
for the Bucks.
Yes.
Nice.
Yep. There you go,
he
right
is
there.
on the screen.
Nice.
Yes, we're excited about that. So that's for the kickoff lunch. So if you want to get the tickets for that, is on westpasco.com. Also, one of the other things is the Health and Business Expo.
Yes,
That week is at the Columbian.
Columbian Event Center.
And that's the first time we're doing it there, and we think it's going to be amazing. So for chamber members, that's $50.
$50 for a trade show
And-
table.
Yep, yep. And it's that's also up there on the website. So as is the brochure that you just saw on there. So everything we want to, you want to look at the educational opportunities. There's just so much. There's so many different. Our West Pasco Large Business of the Year, Gil McWilliams is a guest speaker. Also,
Success
Patrick
Stories
Benet,
lunch.
the West Pasco Chamber of Commerce Small Business of the
And
Year.
that is the Success Stories Breakfast, which takes place on
Yep.
Thursday morning. It's really nice because we tie that, it's at Seven Springs, and we tie that in with Seven Springs Rotary Club meets on
Nice.
Thursday morning.
Yeah.
So it makes for
Nice.
really nice crowd. If you're a
does.
chamber member, it's, even though there's a short window there, there's a lot of opportunities to network and meet some new people that you haven't had a chance to meet before.
Yes, please, absolutely. And then there's other things happening too. I do want to talk a little bit about Sleek and Sexy, the
Okay.
West Pasco Chamber of Commerce's Young Professionals Group. It's our 11th annual Sleek and Sexy. I started when that was one of the that was how I met all of you, was
Yes.
through the Young Professionals Group Sleek and Sexy Committee. So we are doing an old Hollywood theme this year.
Oh, how fun
I
is
know.
that?
And it's at Dulcet. It's on February 1st, so save the date for that. It's a Thursday night. We did a little bit earlier this year to try to bring it back away from the Valentine's Day.
yeah.
So that should be really nice. The tickets are online, $35 online or $40 at the door. And we have a lot of, not a lot, but some sponsorship opportunities available still. So if anybody is interested in that, it's great. They have the tickets for the events, the advertising that goes along with it, the banners, just being a part of the whole thing. It's wonderful.
And it really is a fun event.
It is. We dress up
This is
and-
the 11th year, as Kara said. It's an event that, just in case you don't let the name scare
Yes.
you, because I've been there probably all 11 years, so obviously you don't have to be sleek or sexy to go. You just have to go and have fun, and they have
Exactly.
they have the sexiest eyes and the
We do.
sexiest hair and the
We do.
sexiest swagger. I mean, it's just a really fun
It is.
evening. You hang out with friends, you get to dance, you play music. It's just a really, really good time. So make sure, and at $35 a ticket, it's well worth the
That
evening.
is.
It is.
And at Dulcet's, it
Yeah.
is.
It
That
is
is high
beautiful.
end upscale. That's beautiful.
And I do want to just, like you said, don't let the name scare you. It's the biggest event that the young professionals do, their fundraiser. And the funds that are raised through the sponsorships and all the different things we do throughout the year, at the end of the year, last year we gave $5,000 to local charities here, right here in West Pasco.
Nice. Yeah. Very
So
nice.
there's a purpose to it. It's not just sleek and sexy. Yes, we have a good time. We look pretty. We get our hair done. We wear fancy dresses. But
Me too.
They're all, we really did. It was really, that was the best part of it for me last year, to be a part of that committee then that, got to help decide, where those monies
So
went
that
to.
whole week
Yeah.
backs up with Sleek and Sexy on February 1st. It's going to be
Yes.
it's a really fun end of the month. Dylan put it up a few minutes ago, but like Kara said, go online, look at the brochure for Business Development Week. Pick some of the things that you'd like, that you're interested, like you go to. We have on Tuesday afternoon, we always have the Successful Women in Business, which Miss Barbara
Yes.
Marville Kelly was a part of.
Yes. And we
and
won
this-
People's Choice.
That's you
the three
did.
of us
That's
gals.
right. And this year it's going to be Alice Delgado, CEO.
Oh,
Yes.
It's going to be April.
So
I
much.
believe she pronounces it LaFrou. She was an ex-Miss Universe or something like that, a local.
How fun.
And so and then there's a third person. I apologize to forget, but that's on Tuesday. That's a great luncheon.
Yeah.
And then on Wednesday we have Education Day out at Marchman. More importantly, on Thursday night, last year was a phenomenal. We had a great event with Kickin' Wings.
Yes.
Mixer
Oh, the Mixer, of
that
course.
Rich Sulkin out there puts on. And you know what? I know we're getting time, and I don't want to take too much away from Kara, but back at the office, you've got the backbone. You've got the president, Chip Wickmanowski, our event coordinator, Liz Misemer, office manager, Monique Malin, and then our front office administrator, Patty Christ. And then here, guys behind the scenes, thank you so much to Tampa Bay Multimedia for allowing us to do this for 4 years. And that's John Gaston, his son Dylan behind the scenes. And as always, I can't say enough, and thank you, Barbara Marville Kelly.
It's my pleasure. It's really great to really raise the awareness. And I know we only have a minute remaining, but honestly, that Business Development Week is amazing.
It is.
You have just moved right in, stepped into
Thank
some
you.
great shoes, and are taking off with
Thank
a great
you.
gusto. So
Thank you.
congratulations
Thank
on
you.
that.
Thank
You're
you.
doing such a
And as
lovely
we
job.
wrap down the last few seconds, you got
Yep.
anything you'd like to add? I took too much time.
No,
away
you
from
were good and you were amazing. I appreciate it all the time. He's my backbone of all the things that I can't remember all the time.
30 seconds.
There's still spots for the West Pasco Day in Tallahassee that you can
Okay.
sign up for on westpasco.com as well. 45 spaces for $40. Go up to Tallahassee, meet some senators, and we get to be a part of that, because we also do that in the West Pasco Chamber as a resource to our
Awesome.
community.
Very good, very
Awesome.
good. Well,
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you
so
so much. And thank you for joining us here at My Chamber TV. We'll see you next week, same time, same place.